There is a kingdom not built by human hands, not negotiated by effort, not earned by your best behavior. It doesn't polish you, it undoes you. It breaks the scale you used to weigh yourself, burns the ledger of your good deeds, and whispers, "Come empty, or don't come at all." Say you're strong to the weak, fall beside you. You guard your name but ignore who's behind you. Little ones watching every step that you take. One careless move and the soul starts to break. Heavy like stone in the depths of the sea. That's the cost of misplaced authority. But mercy speaks where judgment would rise. Forgive again, even 70 times.
Undo me,
Lord,
undo my pride.
break every system I used to hide.
I thought I earned it, you tore it down.
Now grace is the only ground I found.
Undo me, make me new.
Make me new,
Your kingdom come, say,
and it
undoes you.
They said, give us more faith. But he said, you don't need more, you need real. A seed, small enough to overlook, yet strong enough to uproot what's buried for generations. Faith is not your effort climbing upward, it's your surrender, falling into the hands of the impossible. Mulberry roots tangled deep in the ground. Habits and systems we thought were profound, but one word spoken in trust, not control, can pull up forests that live in your soul. We chase applause for the things that we do, counting our service like God owes us too. But heaven don't move by the works of our hands. We're just servants obeying commands.
Undo me, Lord, undo my name.
I've built my glory, but it's all in flames.
No more bargaining, no more disguise.
Just dust and mercy in your eyes.
Undo me, make me true.
Make me true,
Your kingdom come, say,
and it
undoes you.
10 were healed, but only one returned. Not the insider, not the expected, but the outsider, the one who knew he didn't belong. He fell at the feet of mercy, while the others walked away with miracles, but missed the giver. Healing touched their skin, but gratitude saved his soul.
Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, imagine you have spent years just meticulously building this towering fortress.
Oh, like a psychological fortress.
Yeah, exactly. You're building this to protect your peace, your rights, and, well, let's be fiercely honest here, your ego.
Right, of course.
You know, you lay down this massive, unshakable foundation of what we call healthy boundaries. You construct thick, defensive walls of self-care to keep out absolutely anyone or anything that might drain your energy.
Gotta protect that peace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you step back, you look at this highly optimized, bulletproof version of your life, and you feel completely secure. And then the very person you call savior walks up, hands you a sledgehammer, and demands you tear the entire structure down to the bedrock.
Man, that sledgehammer image, that is really the focal point of our deep dive today.
It really is.
We are stepping into this profound teaching document from the icomm.CLASSROOM teaching ministry community Quiet Time. It's titled, The Kingdom That Undoes You.
Such an intense title.
It is, and it analyzes a sequence of incredibly uncompromising words from Jesus, found in Luke 17. The core premise here is that Jesus isn't just offering some self-help upgrade to make your fortress a little more comfortable.
Right, like putting nice curtains in the fortress.
Exactly, no curtains. He is introducing a kingdom ethic that is designed to completely uninstall the human ego and just dismantle our most basic instincts for self-preservation.
Which is wild. So if you're listening to this right now, whether you're prepping for your workday or commuting or you're just insanely curious about spiritual psychology, we are asking you to step into a really challenging, emotionally grounded space with us today.
Yeah, it's not a light topic.
No, it's not. Because to dismantle this fortress of self-preservation, the very first wall that has to fall is that 21st century illusion of complete autonomy.
Oh, the private life.
Yes, we love the concept of the private life, but Jesus shatters the idea that you can just live in your own isolated bubble. In Luke 17, he establishes the absolute baseline duty of belonging to a community, and he uses this intensely heavy, violent image.
He really does.
He says it would be better to have a millstone tied around your neck and be thrown into the sea than to cause a vulnerable little one to stumble.
Which, I mean, the mechanics of that warning are so fascinating when you look at the original language.
Right, the Greek translation?
Yeah, the Greek word translated as a stumbling block is scandalon.
Scandalon.
And it doesn't merely mean, offending someone's sensibilities or hurting their feelings. A scandalon is actively the trigger of a trap.
Oh, wow. Like a literal trap.
Exactly. It's the bait stick. So Jesus is highlighting that a community isn't just a random collection of isolated individuals coexisting in the same space. It is a highly sensitive, interconnected spiritual ecosystem.
A spiritual ecosystem. That makes so much sense.
Right. You are constantly making choices that either nourish that ecosystem or actively set traps within it.
And the sources from the community session really wrestled deeply with the gravity of that interconnectedness. Like a member named Anthony pointed out how our mundane, everyday choices carry immense weight because they operate as potential triggers.
Yeah, those small choices add up.
They do. And then Viola shared this really vulnerable reflection on the tension between personal choices, down to something as basic as how we choose to dress, and the covenantal responsibility of ensuring our personal freedom doesn't become the mechanism that traps someone else.
That tension, that strikes at the absolute core of our modern values. Society basically trains us to be fiercely protective of our individual autonomy.
Right. It's all about me.
Yeah, the prevailing logic is that as long as an action is technically permissible, any negative reaction from someone else is entirely their burden to manage.
Okay, but I have to push back on that from the perspective of our fierce modern individualism.
Yeah.
Because the immediate instinct is to say, well, isn't it my right to live how I want?
Sure, yeah.
My rights end where your feelings begin, but my choices are my own.
Yeah.
If someone trips over my perfectly legal, technically permissible self-expression, that sounds like a them problem, not a me problem.
It does sound like that, yeah.
But the ICOM teaching document actually answers that exact defense, and they use this brilliant analogy of secondhand smoke.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. Like you may be thoroughly enjoying a cigarette, fully convinced it is your absolute right to smoke it because it's your body. But the undeniable biological reality is that you are altering the chemical composition of the air everyone else in the room is forced to breathe.
You're changing the environment.
Exactly. You cannot contain the consequences of your choices to your own physical footprint. The ultimate takeaway from this baseline ethic is simply this: you are your brother's environment.
Wow. You are your brother's environment. Accepting that completely redefines human responsibility.
It really does.
We just don't have the luxury of pretending the communal air doesn't exist. And because we share this inescapable atmosphere, human nature kind of guarantees that someone is inevitably going to pollute it.
Right. Someone's going to mess up.
Exactly. Someone is going to make a choice that deeply, personally hurts you. And how we respond to that inevitable hurt reveals whether our priority is protecting our fragile ego or preserving that larger spiritual ecosystem.
Which brings us to verse 3.
Yes. Jesus commands that if a brother sins against you, you must rebuke him.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the word rebuke has terrible PR in our modern culture.
Oh, the worst PR.
Right. To 21st century ears, it just sounds like harsh scolding. It paints this picture of someone standing on a moral soapbox, wagging a finger, and acting totally superior.
Yeah, it feels judgmental. But to strip away that modern baggage, we really have to trace the concept back to its ancient Hebrew roots.
Right, back to Leviticus.
Exactly. In Leviticus 19, God commands the Israelites not to hate their brother in their heart, but to reason frankly with their neighbor.
Reason frankly. I love that phrase.
It's so good. And the text specifically warns that failing to reason frankly means you will incur sin yourself. So silence actually makes you complicit.
Wow. Complicit in the sin.
Right. When someone hurts you and you choose silence under the guise of keeping the peace, you aren't actually creating peace. You are initiating a Cold War.
Cold War of silence.
Exactly. Resentment begins to fester. You replay the offense in your mind, and eventually that internal toxicity leaks out as whispers and slander behind their back.
Which completely explains why modern society relies so heavily on two specific ego-defending mechanisms to handle interpersonal pain.
Cancel culture and ghosting?
Yes. Cancel culture and ghost. Cancel culture is the offensive strike, right? It's the public scorched earth destruction of the person who hurt us.
Right, take them down.
And then ghosting is the defensive retreat. You just quietly and permanently cut toxic people out of your life to protect your own energy.
Just poof, they're gone.
Exactly. Both of these are mechanisms of disposal. We treat people like single-use plastics that have expired.
We really do.
But there was a community member named Indu who offered this brilliant reframing of the command. He called it rebuke as hospitality.
Oh, rebuke as hospitality. That changes the entire paradigm right there.
Totally flips it.
Because hospitality usually brings to mind, warm tea and polite conversation.
Right, like hosting a dinner party.
Exactly. But in the kingdom ethic, rebuke isn't rooted in anger, and it certainly isn't a mechanism of disposal. It is a covenantal welcome.
A covenantal welcome.
Yes. It's an aggressive, radical form of love where we refuse to let a brother or sister blindly walk off a spiritual cliff just because speaking up would be uncomfortable for us.
Wow.
It's looking someone in the eye, stepping into the mess and saying, I see your sin and I'm staying.
I see your sin and I'm staying. I mean, that requires a monumental amount of emotional fortitude.
Unbelievable amounts.
Because if we commit to staying and reasoning frankly in love, we also have to commit to an exhausting, seemingly endless cycle of forgiveness. Jesus demands that if someone sins against you 7 times in a single day
7 times?
And repents 7 times, you must forgive them.
Yeah.
That is a standard so mathematically and emotionally impossible that it drove the original disciples into an absolute panic.
They were terrified, and when you look at the Greek word for forgive used in this passage, it's aphiemi. It means to let go or send away.
Let go.
Right. It paints a picture of releasing a debt so that grace can continue to circulate through the ecosystem rather than locking that debt away in a ledger of resentments.
But maintaining that circulation of grace is agonizing work. Like community member Aviola pointed out the sheer emotional exhaustion of hearing the words, "I'm sorry," over and over again from the exact same person.
Oh, it wears you down.
It does. Because human beings are exceptional accountants of relational pain.
Oh, we keep all the receipts.
We really do. We remember the exact tone of voice someone used 3 years ago. So let me play the skeptical accountant for a moment here.
Okay, go for it.
At what point does this radical 7 times a day forgiveness cross the line from kingdom grace into simply making you a doormat? Like at what point are you just enabling abuse?
Well, the disciples felt that exact same tension, which is why they responded to Jesus by pleading, increase our faith.
Right, they knew they couldn't do it.
Exactly. They recognized that human willpower simply does not have the capacity for that kind of repeated release. So Jesus answers their panic with the imagery of the mustard seed and the mulberry tree.
Okay, break that down for us.
He tells them that faith the size of a tiny mustard seed could command a massive mulberry tree to be uprooted and planted in the sea. And community members Bio and Iodeliva made a really crucial connection regarding this imagery.
What did it say?
They pointed out that faith is not a matter of volume, it is a connection to power.
A connection to power. Oh, that's good. And the choice of the mulberry tree is highly specific too, isn't it?
Yes, very specific.
It's a tree known in the Middle East for having this incredibly deep, stubborn, and invasive root system. So Jesus is using it to represent the deep, invasive roots of bitterness that wrap themselves around the foundational structures of the human heart.
Yeah, you can't just casually pull that up.
No, you can't simply wish bitterness away. Human willpower might trim the visible branches of resentment, making us look polite on the outside, but the root remains intact underground.
Exactly. And the distinction between being a passive doormat and exercising kingdom love lies entirely in that root system.
How so?
Well, to uproot the mulberry tree without destroying the host, meaning you have to connect to a power source outside yourself.
Right.
Mirroring Jesus on the cross, you must rely on divine power to execute the forgiveness, trusting God to right the ultimate wrongs rather than demanding immediate earthly justice yourself.
Okay, but if a listener actually manages to do all this heavy lifting, if they protect the vulnerable environment, they risk the vulnerability of rebuking in love and rely on divine power to forgive endlessly, their ego is naturally going to demand a reward.
Oh, 100%. We want a prize.
We expect a gold star for our restraint.
Yeah.
And this is exactly where Jesus delivers his most jarring blow to our sense of entitlement. He completely dismantles the logic of merit.
He really does. And to grasp the magnitude of this dismantling, we have to look at the Greco-Roman patron-client system that dominated the first century world.
Okay, give us the context.
It was a social hierarchy built entirely on transactional merit. So clients offered absolute loyalty, public honor, and labor to a wealthy patron.
Oh.
And in exchange, the patron provided financial protection, favors, and security. Everything was an exchange of social currency.
Which is wild because we have ported that exact psychological operating system into our modern spirituality.
Oh, absolutely.
We treat faith like a cosmic vending machine.
A vending machine, yes.
Right. We put in the heavy coins of obedience, the self-restraint it takes not to ghost people, and the grueling work of forgiveness. And then we press the button, fully expecting blessings, peace, and prosperity to drop out the bottom.
And when it doesn't?
If the blessing doesn't drop, we kick the machine and accuse God of violating the contract.
It's so true. But Jesus takes a sledgehammer to that vending machine. He tells the story about a servant who has been out in the fields plowing all day. When the servant comes inside, exhausted, the master does not tell him to sit down and be served.
What you'd expect him to do.
Right. Instead, the master says, "Prepare my supper, wait on me while I eat, and afterward you may eat."
Ouch.
Yeah. Jesus concludes this culturally shocking story with a devastating punchline. He says, "So you also, when you have done everything you were told to do, should say, 'We are unworthy servants. We have only done our duty.'"
I have to advocate for the listener who feels incredibly tired right now.
Fair enough.
Because if God owes us absolutely nothing for all our hard work, for all our discipline, and for all the boundaries we've bravely laid down, doesn't that make him sound like a harsh, unfeeling taskmaster who just exploits his workers?
Well, it sounds like exploitation only to an ego that is desperately trying to earn its own salvation.
Ooh, say more about that.
Community members Stephanie and Emmanuel brought some vital, stabilizing clarity to this text. They noted that obedience is simply our baseline duty.
Baseline duty.
Right. It is the natural, organic fruit of salvation. It is not an extra credit project, and it is certainly not currency you can use to purchase a ticket to heaven or a smoother life on earth.
Wow.
The Greek phrase translated as unworthy servants literally means those to whom nothing is owed.
Those to whom nothing is owed. Wow. Accepting a merit score of exactly 0 is the ultimate death of the ego.
It is.
But strangely, it also offers profound liberation. Like, it allows you to step off the exhausting treadmill of spiritual resume building. You can stop obsessing over whether you are performing well enough to earn your keep.
Exactly. Once you surrender that exhausting expectation of a reward, your entire psychological framework shifts. You stop operating out of a transactional duty, and you begin operating out of a radical, rule-breaking gratitude.
Gratitude instead of duty.
Yes. And this psychological pivot is perfectly illustrated by the story of the 10 lepers, which happens just a few verses later in Luke 17.
So what does this all mean in practice? Let's look at the story. 10 men who are completely socially dead, physically rotting, and culturally isolated cry out to Jesus from a distance for healing.
Right, from a distance because they had to be.
Right. He doesn't touch them. He simply tells them to go show themselves to the priests. The text notes that they are healed as they walk.
As they walk.
Yes. All 10 experience the exact same biological miracle. But the ICOM community reflection zeroed in on a deeply sobering statistic, the 90-to-10 ratio.
The 90-to-10 ratio.
Yeah. 9 men get exactly what they asked for, realize their skin is clear, and just keep walking toward the priests. Only 1 man, a Samaritan, who is an absolute cultural and religious outsider, stops, turns around, and returns to the source.
Just 1.
He falls face down at Jesus' feet, shouting praises. So my question is, why is that ratio so skewed? Why were 90% of them so eager to take the miracle and run, without ever looking back at the one who gave it?
Well, the 9 men desired healing, sure. But what they really craved was reabsorption.
Reabsorption.
Yeah, they wanted to seamlessly re-enter the transactional, honor-shame society they had been exiled from. Their healing was merely a mechanism to improve their earthly lives, to get back to their families, their businesses, and their former social standing.
They just wanted their normal lives back.
Exactly. They settled for normalcy. The Samaritan outsider, however, recognized that Jesus was not merely a conduit for a biological upgrade or a better earthly life. He returned for salvation itself.
The desire of those 9 lepers to simply return to a quote-unquote normal society perfectly illuminates Jesus' final, haunting apocalyptic warning in this chapter.
The ending is heavy.
It really is. Because he introduces the ultimate existential threat to the kingdom's soul. And surprisingly, the threat is comfort. He compares the coming of the kingdom to the days of Noah and the days of Lot. He points out that people were eating, drinking, marrying, buying, selling, planting, and building. And the ICOM teaching document coined this striking, memorable term for this state of being. They called it the normalcy trance.
The normalcy trance. That is a brilliant distillation of the danger.
It really is.
Because the greatest threat to your soul is not some scandalous, headline-grabbing sin. You are far more likely to be undone by spiritual anesthesia.
Spiritual anesthesia, like just falling asleep.
Right. It happens when the predictable, mundane rhythms of life, your Amazon deliveries, your mortgage payments, your curated weekend plans, they lull you into losing your spiritual urgency. You just forget your fundamental status as a foreigner and an exile in this world.
But wait, I have to jump in here. Eating, drinking, planting crops, building a house. None of these actions are sins.
No, of course not.
They are the basic, necessary components of existing as a human being. So why is Jesus warning us so severely about just living an ordinary, quiet, productive life?
Because an ordinary life becomes deadly when it becomes your ultimate kingdom.
Wow.
Yeah. Jesus specifically commands his followers to remember Lot's wife.
Right.
Her fatal mistake as she fled Sodom was not some horrific act of violent rebellion. Her mistake was looking back.
Looking back.
She possessed a deep, lingering desire to preserve the comfort and the social structures of the old world, even as it was actively burning down around her. The normalcy trance convinces you that your meticulously built fortress of comfort is worth more than the radical kingdom Jesus is offering.
Wow. Synthesizing everything we've pulled from these sources today, this single chapter of Luke serves as an absolute masterclass in undoing our 21st century human nature.
It really is a masterclass.
It takes our cultural obsession with scorekeeping, our careful curation of our personal brands, and our relentless instincts for self-preservation, and it just flips them into a demand for gritty truth-telling, relentless forgiveness, and open-handed surrender.
Completely flips it.
Community member Tuchuku laid down a massive challenge regarding this. He argued that living this out requires the daily risk of losing our lives for Jesus by intentionally laying down our preferences, our right to be offended, and our opinions.
And it is a daily risk because the ego does not stay dead.
It definitely doesn't.
Every single morning, the human instinct is to pick up the bricks and begin rebuilding those walls of self-preservation.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the kingdom that undoes you, we want to leave you with the exact pastoral benediction that was shared during the community's quiet time.
It's a beautiful blessing.
It really is. Think of it as a diagnostic lens to examine your own life through as you step back into your normal routines, your relationships, and your workspaces today. Here is the blessing they shared. May you leave this space with open hands and an undivided heart. May you serve without keeping score, forgive without keeping records, and love without keeping yourself safe. May the kingdom that undoes you be the only kingdom you call home.
Love without keeping yourself safe. That is the exact opposite of the architectural approach to the soul we talked about at the beginning. It requires complete vulnerability.
Which brings us right back to the image we started with. That meticulously built fortress of healthy boundaries, self-care, and self-protection you've spent your life constructing. The sledgehammer is resting right there in your hands.
It's up to you to swing it.
Exactly. And the final provocative thought we want to leave you to mull over today is this. When you look closely at the walls you have built to keep yourself safe from others, how much of your so-called peace is actually just isolation?
That is a vital question to ask as you survey the boundaries you've built.
It really is. Until next time, keep digging.
By the works of our hands, we're just servants obeying commands.
Undo me, Lord, undo my name.
I've built my glory, but it's all in flames.
No more bargaining, no more disguise.
Just dust and mercy in your eyes.
Undo me, make me true.
Make me true.
Your kingdom come, say,
And it
undo.
then were healed. But only one returned, not the insider, not the expected, but the outsider, the one who knew he didn't belong. He fell at the feet of mercy, while the others walked away with miracles, but missed the giver. Healing touched their skin, but gratitude saved his soul.
Your presence will stand. Not just a blessing, not just a sign. I want the heart that is beating divine. Strip every title, every disguise. Leave me with truth I can't sanitize. If I have you, then I have it all, even if everything else has to fall. Days like Noah, people unaware,
Building their kingdoms in open air,
eating and drinking, blind to the sound
of heaven arriving to shake the ground.
One will be taken, one left behind,
Not by escape,
but awakening time.
when normal collapses and truth is revealed.
The king has returned.
What was hidden is seen.
Lord, undo my throne.
I'm done pretending
I'm on my own.
Take all my crown,
Take all my claim.
I'll lay them down in your holy flame.
Undo me. Undo me. Make me yours.
Make me yours.
Your kingdom come, and I'm undone forevermore. Undo me.
This kingdom
Undo me.
is not an addition to your life. It is the end of it, and the beginning
Of something eternal.